The best way to make money in real estate is through seller finance. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking to purchase your first investment property, seller finance will blow your mind and fill your pockets with cash. It's shocking that more people aren't talking about seller finance, and it might be the best kept secret in real estate investing. Simply put, seller finance is the safest, most profitable, and least time-consuming way to invest in real estate. You'll think that it sounds too good to be true, but I assure you, it's not. In today's video, I'm going to show you why. Hi, I'm Ty the Real Estate Guy, and if you'd like to stay up to date on the latest real estate tips and trends, subscribe to my channel below and ring that little bell. If you have questions or comments, please leave a message below. I'll do my best to respond to each one of you. If you're looking to buy, sell, build, or invest in real estate here in Utah, I would love to talk with you. Please feel free to call or text. So how did I learn about seller finance? Well, several years ago, when the housing market was down, I was unable to sell my own house. A few months previous, my beautiful wife and I had purchased a 2-acre home site, and we were already in the process of building our dream home. We were feeling anxious because several months had passed since we had listed our home and we weren't getting any showings. We had reduced our price as low as we were willing to go because we wanted to take all that equity with us to the new property. Fortunately, one of my realtor friends approached me and told me that we should sell our home on seller finance. I didn't know what seller finance was, and I certainly didn't know how to do it. When he told me the advantages of seller financing our own home, it seemed too good to be true. After some deep prayer and meditation, we decided to move forward. No joke, we sold the house in less than a week for $10,000 more than what we'd previously had it listed for. Not only that, we didn't have to pay a dime of the buyer's closing cost, and we were able to time the move from the old house into the new house at a time that was convenient for us. It was a huge victory, and we ended up making approximately $50,000 more on that house than if we just sold it traditionally. The best part, I've been able to duplicate this process for myself on multiple occasions, and I've been fortunate to help others do the same. Hopefully, you can see why seller finance is an incredible way to make money. As a real estate investor, this could be the most important video you watch if you're looking to maximize the amount of money that you can make in real estate and protect yourself at the same time. Even if you're not an investor and you're just looking to maximize the profits on the sale of your own home, like I did on my first seller finance transaction, this video could change your life, and it could put tens of thousands of extra dollars in your pocket in just one transaction. Your mind will be blown at how much money you will make by selling your home on seller finance as opposed to selling your house traditionally. To maximize your profitability, it's best to sell your home on seller finance like I did. But a lot of you don't want to sell that home that you live in, and that's just fine. It's still very lucrative to purchase real estate and convert those properties to seller finance. As a matter of fact, all the properties that I have personally seller financed, the home in my story is the only one that I had previously owned. It's super profitable either way. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, the house always wins. Not only is this true with casinos, but it's also true with banks. When you seller finance a property, you become the bank and you will win big. Now, I chose to do this video because most people don't even know what seller finance is or that it's even an option. Before I dig in, here's a basic definition. Seller finance is when an individual purchases a house directly from the owner of the property as opposed to using a bank or conventional mortgage lender. It works similar to traditional financing through a bank, but the buyer pays the seller monthly over an agreed period of time with a specific interest rate and terms. Even though the owner of the house, aka the seller, benefits the most from this type of transaction, usually seller finance is a benefit to both parties. Okay, so here's the advantages of seller financing. Number one, super fast closings. You can close in just days. When you sell a home traditionally, the closing usually takes 30 to 45 days and sometimes longer. On seller financing, there's no waiting on the underwriter, the bank, or the legal department to approve and process the loan. You can close on your home and have cash in hand in less than a week. Number two, no closing costs for the seller and very small closing costs for the buyer. On seller finance, you don't have to pay all the lender fees or the appraisal. Financially, this is a huge advantage for both the seller and the buyer because closing costs can be $8,000 to well over $10,000 depending on several factors. As a seller, this is a huge advantage because you don't have to worry about the buyer asking you to pay all or some of their closing costs. As the buyer, you only need to pay some title fees, which should only be a few $100s. As a seller, this could easily put an additional $5,000 to $15,000 in your pocket. As a buyer, you'll save thousands of dollars and you don't need to ask the seller to pay your closing cost. How nice is that? Number 3, as the buyer, you don't need a good credit score. Really, you don't need a credit score at all. This is probably why most people buy a home on seller finance. As a seller or investor, you're probably wondering, why would I sell my home to someone with poor credit? You should know that most buyers on these type of transactions have bad credit and they can't qualify for a loan through a bank. It's pretty much the reason why seller financing exists. Just so you know, there's a lot of responsible people who earn a great income but can't qualify to buy a home traditionally. But to mitigate our risk, we only sell to those who have large down payments. As we progress through this video, you'll get a better understanding of why it isn't something that you should be concerned about. Number 4, quite often the buyer won't have a home inspection. This is a huge advantage for the seller in both time and money because you won't have to repair or replace anything. Okay, I'm gonna pause because I have a quick question for you. What's the number one reason you wanna invest in real estate and what's stopping you from doing it right now? Please take a moment and comment below. Also, will you please give this video a thumbs up? I would appreciate it more than you know, and a thumbs up will help others see that this video is helpful. Thanks. Number 5, as a seller, to lessen your risk, you can ask for a large down payment. It might take a little longer for that property to go under contract, but it's worth it. On a $300,000 home, it's fair to ask the buyers for $15,000 to $30,000 down. And if you offer a better interest rate, some buyers will put down more than that. Some investors are happy to collect a small down payment, and that's fine, but I like to have a little bit more skin in the game, and I'll gladly wait for a buyer who can put more money down. Remember that you will need to pay a realtor. 3% on a $300,000 home is $9,000. So if the buyer puts 10% down, you'll walk away at closing with $21,000 in pocket. This is a good thing because number 6, you can use that down payment from the sale on your seller finance property to purchase your next property. The larger down payment allows you to buy more properties faster. Remember that you can't just buy a house and turn around and sell it the next day, or you'll have to pay a hefty tax. You'll need to rent the property for at least 1 year or live in it yourself. I don't mind renting the property out because I can usually sell the home a year later for more than what I paid for it. And once again, that puts more money in your pocket. Number 7, you won't be a landlord. And if you've ever managed a rental property, you know firsthand that it sucks. Even if you haven't owned a property, I know you've heard the horror stories. You'll have constant phone calls and complaints from your tenants. It can be difficult to get into the house to turn on the sprinklers or change the filters or whatever. And it seems like you're always repairing or replacing something, and you're often responsible for mowing the lawn, among other things. Managing a rental property can be annoying. It takes time away from the things you enjoy, and it's a lot of money out of your pocket. Sure, you could pay someone to manage that property, but that cuts into your profit margin as well. Having a rental property can be time-consuming and expensive, and I often wonder if the money earned is worth it. With seller finance, the client is buying the home from you. It's basically the same thing as when you buy the home from the bank. The buyer is responsible for all maintenance of that home. As the investor, this is awesome because you don't have to do a dang thing. That includes collecting the monthly payment. You'll hire an escrow company to collect the payment and the late fees if needed. They do charge a few dollars each month, but that cost is usually passed on to the buyer. Number 8, yes, it is creative financing and there's often some give and take, but for the most part, as the seller, you lay out the terms and the conditions. This is things like mortgage rate, the payment due date, penalties for missing payments, and etc. This also gives you the ability to remove the buyer from the property if they stop paying. You retain the title, so from a financial standpoint, the buyer defaulting is usually a good thing because you get to keep the down payment, any money that was paid to you, and most importantly, you get to keep the house. Then you can resell the home on seller finance, usually for more than what you sold it for the first time. Cha-ching! Number 9, you can sell the home for more than what it's worth. This is normal practice and it benefits both parties. As a buyer, you never want to pay more for the house than what it's worth, but you're buying the property on seller finance because not only do you not qualify to buy a house right now, but you most likely won't qualify for several years. There's a good chance that by the time you could afford to purchase a home, the value of that property would be much higher than what you're paying for it today. For the seller, the advantage is obvious. You're selling the home for more than what it's actually worth. This will increase your profit on the sale of the home, the buyer's monthly payment, and your profitability. Number 10, you can charge a higher interest rate. So as an investor, let's say you get a 4% fixed 30-year mortgage rate on the property. On seller finance, you can charge the buyer an interest rate of 5.5%, 6%, or maybe more depending on the situation. I usually offer a better rate if the buyer is willing to put down more money. A hidden gem for the seller is that each month when a payment is made, your principal is paid down faster than the buyer's principal, so you're actually making money on the back end. Number 11, you have little to no risk. As a matter of fact, seller finance may be the least risky way to invest in real estate. Here in Utah, we take all offers through a real estate attorney to make sure the contract is as airtight as possible. Our contracts are written so you can't lose the house through some form of deceit or trickery by the buyer. With seller finance transactions, you don't have to worry about squatters like you do with a rental property. If the buyers can no longer make the monthly payment, we've developed a system that strongly encourages them to move out of the home without damaging your property. There are loads of other advantages to seller finance. This video is meant to give you a basic understanding. Because seller finance is confusing, you'll absolutely want a professional on your side. Just so you know, most realtors don't understand seller finance. So just make sure you find an agent who specializes in seller finance. I am in no way trying to discredit other agents, but I've watched top-notch realtors struggle to do these type of transactions. In each market, there will be a very small handful of agents who really know how to protect you and really know how to maximize your profits. If you're looking to really make money with seller finance, find an agent who specializes in these type of transactions. Personally, even though I've done multiple transactions and I know what I'm doing, I still have a real estate attorney review all of my contracts before I finalize anything. And not only have I helped others through this process, I personally own multiple seller finance properties. A few years down the road, when the buyer finally refinances the house, releasing you as the owner, you'll receive a large chunk of money and you can do it all over again. Believe it or not, through the power of leverage combined with seller finance, I was able to sell one rental property and purchase 3 homes last year from its proceeds. Even an average person with an average income can become a millionaire by seller financing properties. But if you're a serious investor and you have the ability to invest in multiple properties, you will be shocked at how financially beneficial seller finance can be and how little risk is involved. Hopefully, you can now see why seller finance is the best way to invest in real estate. Whether you're looking to sell a personal home or you're an investor, seller finance is the obvious choice. I know you have a lot of questions, so please don't hesitate to type a message below. Or if you live in Utah, please reach out to me and I'll come meet you at your home and see if it's right for you. If you're planning to move to Utah or you already live here and you're looking to buy, sell, or build a home, I would love to talk with you. Please feel free to contact me directly. If there's something in this video that stood out to you as being helpful, or if you have questions, please comment below. Sincerely, I want to hear from you. If you know someone who's looking to sell their home or invest in real estate, please share this video with them. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.